Hi, second grade. I hope you've been enjoying adding those two-digit numbers. We are going to be doing a little bit more of that today and this week, but we're going to be looking at it a little different way. This week, we're going to be looking at coins. Yes! Isn't that exciting? Starting to talk about money, which I know you did a little bit in first grade, and maybe you touched on in kindergarten. So we're going to do a little review, check in on what we understand, and then we're going to dive into some new second grade learning. All right? So let's go ahead and get our target ready, and then we'll jump right in. I can solve word problems with pennies, nickels, and dimes. What do we know about that learning target? Yes, when we're solving word problems, that means there's a little story that goes along with what we're needing to solve. And that story will tell us what we need to do to solve that problem. Maybe we're adding, maybe we're subtracting, we're trying to find that unknown. So that word problem is just a problem written in a story form. What else do we know about this learning target? I can solve word problems with pennies, nickels, and dimes. Yes! Do you see those pennies anywhere on my board? That's right. What do we know about a penny? Yes, a penny is worth 1 cent. So on my learning target, I'm going to write 1 cent. And remember, when we do that cent sign, we're drawing a C with a line through it. What else do we know? Ah, there's that nickel. Do you see nickels anywhere on here? Yes! That is a nickel. And how much is a nickel worth? Nickels are worth 5 cents. And there's that C with that line through it again that represents cents. What about that last coin? That's a dime. And what do we know about a dime? Those are worth 10 cents. Absolutely. So when we start looking at these coins today, we're looking at our pennies worth 1 cent, our nickels worth 5, and our dimes that are worth 10. So let's go ahead and get started. We already know how much each of those coins are worth, and you guys practiced last year counting like coins. So we're going to start with that knowledge today, and then we'll go into some new knowledge with our second and our third launches. So let's take a peek at our first one and see what we already know. Lee, Seth, and Jack each have 5 coins. Who has the most cents? And I put that word cents, but I also wrote that C with that line through it. Remember, we're going to be recording our money in cents today. So here's Lee's coins. He has 5 of these. Here's Seth's coins. He has 5 of those. And then here's Jack's coins. He has 5 of that coin. Talk to me. Who has the most cents? How do you know that Jack has the most? Because he has dimes. Okay, so if Jack has 5 dimes, how many cents does he have in his pocket? And how did you get 50? So how did you count them? 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And why did you count them by 10? Why did you skip count by tens? That's right. Those dimes are worth 10 cents a piece. So if Jack has 5 dimes, he has 50 cents. Okay? How much does Seth have? How do you know he has 25 cents? Okay, so how will we skip count those? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And what did we skip count by? Why did we skip count by 5? Because nickels are worth 5 cents. So we see 5 nickels there. And so when we have 5 nickels, we have 25 cents. And what about those pennies? Yes, Our 5 pennies are worth 5 cents. Did we skip count with our pennies? Why didn't we skip count with our pennies? Because they're each worth 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we had 15 pennies, we would have how many cents? 15 cents. If we had 50 pennies, how much would we have? 50 cents. So when we have our pennies, we just count them by ones. We counted our nickels by 5s, and we counted our dimes by 10. We have to think about that value. Remember that place value from a couple weeks ago when we were counting our hundreds, tens, and ones? And that place value was so important, right? The value of our coins is really important too. So we're going to use what we already know about value, and we're going to use it to help us count and skip count our coins. Now in first grade, we count our like coins, right? So that meant that all of our coins were pennies, or they were all nickels, or all dimes, or all quarters. They were all similar. They were all the same coin. They were just different numbers of that coin. In second grade, we're going to be counting unlike coins. That means we're going to have a whole mixture of coins. So they're going to be worth a different value. And we have to really be mindful of how much those coins are worth to help us count them. So let's go ahead and look at our second launch. Now that we're kind of warmed up, let's look at our second launch and see how we might go about solving this word problem. Eric found some coins in his pocket. How many cents did he find? Eric finds some coins in his pocket. How many cents did he find? And here we have our coins. So you can see some of those coins that you know. How can we go about solving them? I'm going to give you some private think time. Now remember, you can use your plastic coins, you can use real coins, you can even draw them. So if you're drawing pennies like these, you might draw a circle with a P on the inside, or a circle with the 1 cent on the inside. When you're drawing your nickels, you could draw them with a circle with an N for nickel, or a 5 cent on the inside. And that same thing with our dimes. Circle with a D on the inside, or a circle with a 10 and a cent sign in it. Okay, so if you're having to record your coins, you can record them like that. You don't need to draw the beautiful pictures that you might see on those coins. You can just draw either the P, the N, or the D on the inside, or the worth of that coin. Show me how you might figure out how much money Eric found in his pocket. Go ahead and start solving. What did you do with your coins? And why did you group them together? Oh, and what did you count first? Then what did you count? And how did you find your total? What equation did you write to match this picture or this model? And what do each of those numbers represent? But they're not in the same order as they are up there. Why did you rearrange the order? Does it make it easier to count? And why did you start with your bigger coin instead of your smallest coin? Friends, we're going to be coming together in just a moment. Remember, if you're at home, please feel free to pause me if you need a little bit more time to think through this problem. Today we're solving word problems with pennies, nickels, and dimes. So as we look at these, we're going to be thinking about what we know about the value of each of those coins to help us solve these problems. I have some friends who did some different things. Let's first take a peek at the equation that might match this model, we'll call it. What equation did you write to match this model? Okay, so you did 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. And how does that equation match this work? Because I see a penny first, and that's not worth 10. 1, 2, 3 dimes, so you put those first. And then where do the 5s come from? The 1, 2, 3, the 3 nickels, and then the 2 pennies. So what did you do first? If this is the equation, what did we do first to help us solve this? What did you do first? Okay, so you grouped your dimes and your nickels and your pennies together. And when you grouped them together, what did you notice? You had 10, 20, you had 30 cents in dimes, 5, 10, 15 cents in nickels, and then what? Just 2 cents in pennies. And then what did you do? Okay, so you had your 30 and your 15, and you knew that 30 and 10 was 40. Okay, so 30 plus 10 equals 40. Okay, and then you had your 40 and your 5. So you looked at your 10s place first, and then you had your 5 extra. And that equaled 45. Okay, and then what did you do? You had to say at 45 plus 2, 45, 46, 47. And so how many cents did you have altogether? 47 cents. Somebody else did something different. Oh, I'm going to use a different color for this. Tell me about what you did. Yours looked a little different. Can I stop you for just a second? Friends, what do you notice is similar about these two strategies already? They grouped their coins to like coins. They both did that, didn't they? So they put their dimes together, their nickels and their pennies, and they did the same thing. Dimes, nickels, pennies. But how did you count yours, or how did you find your total number of coins, or total number of cents? Okay, you said 10, 20, 30. Okay, then what did you do? Okay, you said 35. And why did you go to 35? Because 5 more than 30 is 35. And why did you count by 5 more? Because that nickel's worth 5 cents. So for 35, how else would we count? 40, 45. Because 5, 10, 15, or 30, 35, 40, 45. So counting by 5s because they're all nickels. Then what? 46, 47. And that one you counted by what? Ones. And why ones? Because those pennies are worth 1 cent. Absolutely. So we can group our coins. That's the easiest way to count these, isn't it? We can group them by like coins, and it makes it so much easier to count because we've already done that. We know how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to group them and either add them together like we know what to do, or we can use what we know about skip counting. 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, and we still have 47 cents total. So how much money did Eric find in his pocket? 47 cents. Ooh, nice job, second grade. All right, I have another problem to pose for you, and I want you to see if you can solve this, and we'll come together and share this strategy here in just a second. Linda had 45 cents in her pocket. She found 2 dimes on the ground. How much money does she have now? Linda had 45 cents in her pocket, and she found 2 dimes on the ground. How much money does she have now? Ooh, what do we already know, my friends? I love finding out what we already know. We already know she had 45 cents in her pocket. What else do we already know? She found 2 dimes. She found them. And what are we trying to find out? How much money does she have now? Okay, what equation would you write to match this work? I want you to write it on your paper, write on your board, and show it to somebody either at home or hold it up to me. How does 45 plus 10 plus 10 match this story? She had 45 cents. She found 2 dimes. So where are those 10s coming from? Dime 1, dime 2. Somebody else wrote this. 45 plus 20. What do you think, guys? Agree, disagree? Does that match the story? How does it match this story? 45 and 20, where does the 20 come from? 2 dimes, 10, and 20. Ooh, so we can solve it either way. What do you think? How would you solve this problem? Go ahead and pause us if you need some more time to think. All right. What did you do after you were using a number line to help you solve this? You made a jump of 10. And where did you land when you made that jump of 10? 55. And why 55? Because you're adding a 10, so your 10's place is changing. So you have 4 10s and you add a 10, so you have 5 10s. And what did you do next? Add another 10, and where did you land? 65. And why 65? 5 10s and 1 10 is 6 10s. 65 cents. Did anybody else solve it that same way? Seeing some wiggle waggles? Tell me how you solved it. Oh, you looked at that 120 grid. Did anybody else look at that 120 grid? That's a really helpful tool, isn't it? And where did you start on that 120 grid when you looked at that? 45. And then what did you do? You jumped 2 down. And why did you jump 2 down? Because each jump down is a 10. Because there are 10 in each row, aren't there? And that 10's place is changing. 45, 55, 65. And there we go. So we know that 45 plus 20 is 65. Or 45 and 10 is 65. We can skip count to help us find that unknown, right? Just like we did down here. We can skip count, or we can use what we know about adding to help us solve that. Friends, as you do more of this afternoon with more of your independent practice, and for the next couple days, I want you to be thinking about what we already know, like skip counting Litecoins, how we can use that to help us solve these new and interesting problems. Happy counting!